Have you ever seen one of those videos of people speaking 6 or 7 languages? Or maybe read somewhere that your favorite actor is actually fluent in a foreign language as well?
Is Josh Hutcherson fluent in Spanish? A ver, creo que fluent para mí es un poco demasiado, pero a la vez yo creo que yo puedo más o menos básicamente explicar lo que quiero y básicamente entiendo todo.
Mais comment vous faites pour avoir ce niveau de français?
Ah, j'ai étudié à Aix-en-Provence.
Oui, alors ça oui, ça je le savais, mais c'était quand?
Ah, c'était longtemps, hein?
Bah oui.
Ouh là là.
Mais comment?
Yet when you try to learn a language, it feels impossible. You overthink, you get nervous, and suddenly it comes out like this.
In the beginning. Yeah,
That used to be me. I remember being terrible at languages, not because I was bad at learning, but because I was doing 2 things that were blocking me for years. And once I fixed them, everything about language learning changed. I don't know if you remember your teachers from primary school, but I remember one in particular. She was my maths teacher, and I know she probably didn't look like that, but that's how I remembered her.
Cedric Diggory's death was a tragic accident.
It was murder. Voldemort killed him. You must know that.
Enough. See me later, Mr. Potter. My office.
I absolutely hated her, for one reason mostly. She was a type of teacher that would make you stressed the moment you entered the classroom. To her, every mistake seemed unacceptable. Guess what? It didn't really help with learning. Because now, even though you knew the correct answer, you were so worried, you didn't even say it. And even worse, that fear turns into a quiet voice at the back of our heads, which follows us for many years. And it actually shows up in language learning as well, wherever you got it from. I see so many different adults who would rather stop in the middle of the sentence and look up a word in a dictionary or ask a friend, rather than make a mistake, because they were so afraid of sounding stupid. And that's one of the biggest things that prevents us from becoming successful at language learning. The second one is much simpler, but still many people fail to realize that. Language classes are very often simply boring. And I'm not saying it's always the case, because there are some incredible teachers out there. But for many of us, language classes look like this: repetitive exercises, filling in the blanks, circling in the correct answer, standardized tests, learning outdated idioms and translating sentences no one actually says, and finally, very little actual speaking. So what we get is a whole generation of people who do brilliantly on tests, but struggle to order a coffee abroad. Then we grow up and decide, all right, I want to learn a language for myself. So what do? We don't know how to study in a way that is exciting to us. So we do it the only way we know. Repetitive exercises, boring textbooks, and suddenly language learning turns into this painful chore, and every other task seems more urgent.
I don't want to work. I just want to bang on this mug all day.
Did you ask me here for any specific reason?
Yes, I did.
In the end, we realize we never quite got around to studying. But now, since we've identified 2 very common reasons why people struggle to learn a language, which is fear of making mistakes and learning in a way that makes you want to quit on the first day, the question is, what can we actually do about it? So the first thing that made me improve was this. Language learning is not about creating a perfect sentence. It's about getting your meaning across. I'll give you an example.
Guess what is me? Here is the ocean of Antarctica. That's the bridge. I gonna walking in him. Here is where the people fishing and they catch fish. I swear to my God. First time in my life I see like that.
Now, he makes mistakes, but here's an important part. We can understand everything he's talking about. And that's key. Because in my experience, and we've already touched on this, many people, when they think they might make a mistake, they just don't say anything at all. The problem is that they build this fairly elaborate sentence in the native language, and then they try to translate it one-to-one, which is a very difficult job, because you basically don't know half of the words in that sentence. So they stop the conversation, they check the word in a dictionary, or they ask friends around, and the communication just dies, because they forget one thing. It's impossible to know all the words in the dictionary. And it's not what it's all about. Learning a language is about finding a way to express your idea, even though you don't know all the words. So what you have to do is simplify, or find a different way to say something. Let's look at this scene from the TV series How I Met Your Mother.
I'm telling you, within 3 days.
Oh, here he comes. Switch to big words.
Within a triad of solar periods, you'll recognize your dearth of compatibility with your paramour and conclude your association.
My journey was transformative, and I reassert my commitment to both the aforementioned paramour and the philosophies he espouses.
What are we talking of? Baseball?
All the friends are using overly complicated sentences so that one of the characters can't understand them. But the lesson here is that the opposite can be done in most of the situations. Every sentence can be said in a different, simpler way. So whenever you get stuck on a word, don't panic. Find a way around that word. You can either explain it, you can rephrase it, you can use simpler language, but don't stop. A great way to practice that is this game called Taboo. If you don't know what it is, the idea is quite simple. You're given a word which you have to explain to your team, but you can't use that word, and there are also certain words related to that word which you can't use either. So now, in order to explain it, you have to get creative. Let's say the word is bicycle, and the 3 words underneath are bike, ride, wheels. So, since you can't use these words, you could say, it's something we use to travel. It has got 2 round parts. We use our legs to move it. After some time of practicing, you realize how much you can actually say, even though you can't use all the words. And it's a fun little game, which hopefully makes the process of learning a bit more enjoyable. Which brings me to my second point. And I'll be quick about this one. Get excited about the process of learning. So ask yourself this. How do I feel when I'm about to study a language? Do I feel curious, interested? Or does my stomach tighten the moment I even think about studying? For many people, the answer is obvious, because they studied the same way they did at school. So the process usually looks like this. They buy themselves a textbook, they work through a couple of chapters, they realize they are bored out of their minds, and then they quietly give up. It's not a discipline problem, it's a design problem. Language learning takes time, and if you genuinely dislike how you're learning, you won't stick with it long enough to see results. And there is no magical one-size-fits-all method, because everyone is a little bit different. The good news is that finding alternatives is easier than ever. You've got books, podcasts, videos, apps, AI tools, and teachers from all over the world to help you. If you just search how to learn English or any other language, you'll get millions of suggestions. Your job, though, is to find the one that works for you. Once you have the basics, try to learn and watch the materials you would enjoy anyway in your own language. If you enjoy cooking, watch cooking videos in your target language. If you're into fitness, follow fitness creators on Instagram. Even if you have some niche hobby and you enjoy learning about that, try to do the same things, but in your target language. But forcing yourself to read an article about something you're not interested in, like the history of public transport, just to practice English, it's not something you will want to come back to again and again. And repetition is what matters, because the right method is the one that makes you want to come back tomorrow. Once I figured that out, learning stopped feeling like work and it became something I did to relax. And that's when the real progress started.
Cuando decidí aprender español, ya tenía claras dos cosas. La primera, dejar de lado el perfeccionismo, esa voz en tu cabeza que te repite constantemente que te van a criticar. Empecé a hablar desde el primer momento, aunque sonara fatal. Y si no sabía alguna palabra, no me paraba. Seguía hablando. Intentaba explicarla como podía, daba vueltas, realmente lo que hiciera falta. Y la segunda cosa que tenía muy clara fue buscar formas de aprender que me apetecieran de verdad. Cuando ya tenía una base, empecé a leer libros fáciles. Por ejemplo, un Harry Potter, pero en español. Y los días en los que no tenía tantas ganas de aprender, pues nada, procrastinaba, pero en español. Cambiaba el idioma de las series, veía pelis cortas en Instagram, escuchaba música, pero todo en español. Y un día me di cuenta de algo bastante curioso. Podía decir mucho más de lo que esperaba. Y quizá lo más importante, entendí que mi miedo a hablar no tenía ningún sentido. Porque la gente no me juzgaba por equivocarme. Al contrario, le parecía bien que intentara hablar en su idioma.
Także jeśli nauczenie się nowego języka to jedno z Twoich postanowień noworocznych, zapamiętaj jedno. Cel, jak i droga są w tym przypadku równie ważne. Ponieważ osoby, które znają wiele języków, zazwyczaj czerpią przyjemność z samego procesu uczenia się. Także jeśli nudzisz się lub odczuwasz stres podczas nauki, może być to sygnał, że warto coś zmienić. Czasami wystarczą drobne korekty, jak te, o których wspominaliśmy, zastosowanie nowej rutyny, aby zobaczyć ogromną różnicę. And if you're interested in more creative, out-of-the-box ways of learning languages, follow me. I'll see you in the next one.